So what we have seen till now, you need to convert your research objectives into research methodology, proper questions. Clear? So now research gaps convert into objective, decide research design, and then you have to design the questions for that. I'll write research gaps which I have identified. Now I'm not repeating one more time. Here you can write the research objectives. You have decided the research approach or research design for this. Now, if it is a primary data, that means here I have written somewhere survey. Clear? If you have to collect the data through primary data collection, then you have to decide that how the primary data will be collected. It is based on interview. It is based on survey. What method you are going to follow? Yeah. So here, after deciding that if it is through questionnaire, so then you have to decide your questionnaire also. So when you are deciding your questionnaire, that means there are many questions to be incorporated. Yeah, that means I'm saying the questionnaire, it is nothing but it is a collection of many variables. How this variable you are going to quantify? Yeah. If I have to, my one of the objective is that I have to examine the relation. Just a minute, I have to examine the relation between uh, gender, what is age and service quality. So then I can say that service quality is one of the questions that I need to ask to respondent. Age could be the another question that I need to address. Yeah. Now, how are you going to quantify these two questions? Yeah. So here you are deciding your variables. So here you have decided the survey you are going to do. You are going to do with the questionnaire. So in questionnaire, you will have to write the variables or the questions. Clear? So you have decided that you have two variables for this particular objective like age and service quality. Yeah. Now let me shift myself from here. So age and service quality, that is a variable you have identified. Clear? After identification, you have to decide that how are you going to quantify these two variables? Yeah. How are you going to quantify these two variables? So this you have to decide the measurement scale. How are you going to quantify the age of the respondent? For that, the measurement scale it is required. Now, what is measurement scale? If I'm asking someone the salary per month, then someone is saying that they around 10,000. Yeah? And he is replying 10,000. So I may consider only 10,000. So then it could be $10,000. He has not specified 10,000 rupees. Clear? So if you are in the different country, then the measurement scale may be dollar ho sakta hai. Clear? So the measurement scale, when I'm saying a $10,000, 10,000 rupees, you can understand that different measurement I'm using. If somebody is asking my weight, then I can say in kilogram, I can say in pound. So how I'm going to measure this particular variable, for that the measurement scales are available. So there are four types of the measurement scales in the literature, and they are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Now, why there is a need to study the measurement scale when you have to write a research paper? Because your measurement scale decide your statistical technique, which statistical technique you are going to apply with your data on your data, that depends on measurement scale, and that's why there is a need to study the measurement scale. So let us discuss the measurement scale one by one. There are four measurement scales in research, and they are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. And the ratio. Now, when I'm saying the nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, this measurement scale are used for quantifying the data. Nominal and ordinal, combinedly I can give one name, and interval and ratio I can give. Clear? So nominal and ordinal combinedly I can say it is a categorical question. I can say that it is nothing but it is a categorical question. Interval and ratio combinedly I have to write something for them, then I can write it as a scale question. It is a scale question, categorical and scale question. You can also say that the qualitative based on quantitative based. Non-metric and metric data. Clear? That way also you can write. Now, as you move from nominal to ordinal to interval to ratio, power of doing the statistical test it is increases. So nominal has got the least power, and the ratio is the most powerful data analysis measurement scale. Yeah. So if you are in process of writing the what is called research variable in your questionnaire, then I will advise that go for a more scale based question And categorical question, you can use minimum. Yeah. So if you want to convert your scale based question into categorical, it is always possible. But if you want to convert your categorical scale into pure ratio or interval, it is not at all possible. So scale to categories is possible. Category to scale, it is never possible. Now let us discuss this one by one. What is nominal? So nominal as I will say that nominal data measurement scale, it is used for identification. It is used for identification, or you can say it is used for classification. Yeah. So if I have a one variable, say for example, I have gender as one of the variable. So I can divide this variable on the basis of numbers like this. One, it is male, two, it is female, third could be transgender. Yeah. So then this number here, they are used for making the identification. Yeah. It is used for making the categories of a variable called gender. So nominal scale, they are used for identification purpose. It is, you can say it is also for a classification. Yeah. So let me take one more example. Like if I don't know, but I'm just assuming Virat Kohli's t-shirt number is 10. Clear? If it is there or not, that you need to check. I don't know, but I'm assuming that Virat Kohli's t-shirt number is 10. So this 10, it is just for identification. Anywhere in the cricket ground, if it's standing and if I see number 10 in our color, Indian cricket team color, I can say that, yes, I can identify that Virat Kohli is there. Yeah. This 10 number, it is only used for identification. This 10, it is not deciding the batting order. I think his batting order may be second, third, or opening batsman is there. He is the opening batsman. Yeah. So this number 10 written on the t-shirt, it is just for making the identification. It is not deciding his batting order. Yeah. So these numbers here, they are just for making the identification, nothing else. Yeah. So if male candidate, if they are saying that yes, we have given number one, then we are number one and we are superpower, then I can change their code like this: 0, 1, and 2, male, female, and transgender. Yeah. So now they are 0. So these numbers are nothing. They are just for making categories. They are just for making the identification, nothing else than that. Yeah. So nominal letters has the characteristics of the identification and classification. Let us move further. The second scale, it is the ordinal scale. Now, ordinal, as the name suggests, it is the characteristics of order, or you can say it is rank or preference. Yeah. So when you move from ordinal to nominal to ordinal, the characteristics of nominal are inbuilt in the ordinal. Yeah. So moving further for the ratio, the characteristics of the all the previous scale, it is there in the ratio. And you can say that's what is most powerful, ratio scale. So when you are moving from one scale to another scale, the characteristics of the previous scale, it is inbuilt in the next. Yeah. So if I'm writing the designation, I have one of the variable called designation, and designation you can very well relate with our own designation like professor, associate professor, and assistant professor, assistant. So these are the number used for making identification of variable called designation 1, 2, 3, and it also decides the rank in the organization. Professor has got the highest designation. Clear? Dean, HOD, they are the professors. So then they are the highest designated person in the organization in the educational institute. So here number 1, 2, 3, they also decide the rank. They are used also for the classification. Clear? Okay. Moving further, now, I am taking one more example that I have many students in my class, but I am just writing the result of 3 students. Yeah. The first student or the second category student or the number of the second, it is 90%. Here, this person is getting 80% marks, and this person it is getting the 78% marks. Yeah. So now, number, if I have to give the ranks, and this could be the first rank, this could be the second rank, and this could be the third rank. Yeah, if I have to give the numbers. And this is what is the attendance 1, 2, 3, or you can say the roll number 1, 2, 3 that way. Yeah, so roll number 2 is getting the highest mark in his position in the class as the first. Yeah. So now when I'm saying this, it is the ordinal scale. This is the ordinal scale. But what is the problem with the ordinal? And that's why we have a new scale called interval. If you identify the distance between the two, or difference between the first rank and second rank, then there is a difference of 10%. And if you identify the difference between the this person, second rank and the third rank, the distance or the difference, then it is only of 2%. Yeah. So, or when you are following the ordinal scale, at that time, the ordinal scale, it is not having the characteristics of equal distance. This is not the equal distance, but this is rank. Rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. The difference or the distance between the first and second rank, it is 20%. Second and third, it is just 2%. So it is not the equal distance. So when you want the characteristics of the equal distance, that time we have a one more scale, and that scale it is known as interval scale. That is known as interval scale. Yeah. Now, without knowing the or without having a knowledge of interval scale, many times we have filled up the questionnaire of any of the respondent like kindly rate our satisfaction on the 1 to 5 Likert scale, where 1 is equal to highly dissatisfied and 5 it is highly satisfied. Yeah. What is this? This is nothing but the interval. Difference between 2 and 1 it is 1. 3 minus 2 it is 1. 4 minus 3 it is 1 and 5 minus 4 it is 1. So difference it is equal in the interval. All social science researchers consider interval as a scale. Statisticians they disagree. So this could be the if the statistician in my class then they will disagree. They will consider interval as ordinal. Clear? So social science researcher consider interval as a scale. So that way you can proceed. Now, when one more thing, let me talk about interval. So when I'm saying the interval scale, and at that time, if I'm saying that the take one more example, like temperature is 0, clear? Temperature is 0. So then the next question, can I say the variable called temperature, it is not there in the existence? Can I say like that? Certainly not. Temperature, that variable, it is there in the existence, and I feel cold. Temperature is there. Yeah. So when I'm saying a temperature is 0, that doesn't mean that variable it is not there. That variable is there. Yeah. But when I'm saying income is 0, that means that particular variable is not there. My income is 0. So no need to consider that what variable in the consideration. Yeah. But when I'm saying a temperature is 0, I need to take into consideration. I cannot ignore. Because temperature 0, that means temperature hai. I feel cold. But I'm saying income 0, that means that particular variable I should not record in my data analysis because that variable is not there. So what I'm trying to explain, the interval scale, the 0 is arbitrary. 0 is not at the starting point. That is the one of the characteristics of the interval scale. And how it is different from ratio. So when I'm saying the ratio scale, in the ratio 0, it has a starting point. 0 is not arbitrary. Yeah. So ratio scale, you can understand the ratio scale like the open-ended question. Age, give this blank. Yeah. So then it could be the ratio scale. Now, why there is a need to understand this measurement scale? Because your measurement scale determine the method, statistical treatment. Yeah, how they are determining that I'm taking the example. Now again go back to our previous example like service quality and relating the service quality with the demographic profile of the respondent. And for that I'm writing two sets of the questions. Just have a look on that I'm writing. So I have two sets of the question. Here the set number 1 and here it is second set, question 1. So now I have to write, I have two variables. Yes, service quality and the age. So then my first variable I can ask the age in this pattern. Like age, I will give the categories. Age from 20 to 30 years, 30 to 40 years, 40 to 50 years. Clear? And my second question, it is, are you aware about service quality? A very simple question, let me ask. Are you aware about service quality? Good. I don't have space, so I'm not writing the full question. You just understand. And that option could be yes and no. The second set of the question, I am asking age in this format. Age, it is like this. And I am asking a respondent to rate their level of awareness. Rate level of awareness of SQ, service quality, on 1 to 5 Likert scale. Clear? So now, first of all, let me explain this. Like what are the scale? Here the age, it is asked in the ordinal. How it is ordinal? Age of the respondents, it is increasing. So this question, it is ordinal in nature. Clear? This question, it is ordinary. Are you aware about service quality? Yes and no. So this question, I can say it is nominal. Yeah. Now this age, when I have asked this question here, it is nothing but it is ratio based question. And this question here, it is the, what is that? It is interval. Yeah. Now, as a researcher, you have choice. As a researcher, you have choice whether you want to use the first set of question or second set of question. If you are going for a first set of question, then both the questions, they are ordinal and nominal. That means these are the categorical questions. And if you are going for the second set of question, then it is ratio and interval based. So ratio and interval based question, that means it is a scale question. So now if your questions are this question like ordinal and nominal, you will be able to do chi-square. Yeah, in this set, in the first set of the question, you will be able to do chi-square. If you have a second set of the question like this, then you will be able to do correlation. Clear? So now, your statistical treatment, whether you want to go for correlation or chi-square, that is dependent on the question choice. How your variables are quantified by you, that determines whether you will go for correlation or chi-square. So normally, this way you have to decide the statistical technique. Now, what way the researcher they are deciding the statistical technique? Let me talk on that also. Even I have done many times. So before starting my career as a researcher, when I was in year 2001 to 2007, even I have followed the same methodology which I'm trying to tell you. When we start writing a research paper, what we are doing, we are downloading the papers from Google, paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. Oh, 3 is missing, 5. Yeah. And what we are doing? We are just reading and copying the, maybe from the paper 1, I like the questionnaire. Yeah, so I'm copying. Questionnaire I have written from the paper 1. I like the hypothesis part from the research paper 3. I like the introduction part of the research paper 5. Clear? I like the research methodology of the fourth paper. And I like the theory for the next. Clear? So this way I am copying. This way I am copying the things. So now you have copied the thing from different researchers' paper. Do you think you will find the connectivity with all? Getting the connectivity is difficult. This person has asked the questions in a what is called scale, and the hypothesis from where you have taken that person is check chi-square. Yeah. So one paper that is talking about chi-square, and the question which you have taken from the first paper, he has taken the questions only on the basis of some other variable. So he has not included the variable which is appropriate for the chi-square. So then you will not be able to identify the connectivity between this. So connecting this the five, it is difficult. And that's why writing the research paper becomes challenge for many people like this. So why, how you have to connect this? So that table which I have prepared, I'm just writing the names. I will not write the inner component now. So if you are preparing, if you are in the process of writing your first research paper, then you can write like this. I'm writing for you. You just write, you can do a screenshot of this. Oh, just a minute. What happened? Okay. So the first thing you can try like that, your first column could be the research gap. Clear? So what are the research gap? That is limitation. The second things you can write, it is a research objectives. Clear? Convert the research objective. If you want to satisfy this research objective, what would be the research design? Decide your approach. On the basis of that, you decide your variables, your questions. Clear? How are you going to measure this variable? That is measurement scales. Yeah, that is nothing but the measurement scale. And if these are the measurement scale, what statistical technique you are going to apply, statistical test or technique. So this table you have to prepare when you are in process of writing the research paper. Your variable, so normally it is like the, from here, what people are doing, they are deciding the statistical test from the some papers, they are deciding the variables from some other previous research paper, their objectives they are from some other paper, and that's why when they are conducting the research you are not finding, yes, something is missing, that filling your gap. So this way you have done that, your research gap comes from the limitation that you have converted into objectives. To satisfy these objectives I am going to do this research approach. Clear? My variables will be from the research objectives. If these are the variable, how I'm going to measure them? If both are nominal and ordinal, you can do chi-square. If it is both interval and ratio, then you can do correlation. So your statistical test, it is determined on the basis of measurement scale. So hold this table that will give you an idea that if you write a paper, your statistical technique would be like this, your measurements could scale should be like this. Clear? So this way, if you start writing your research paper or building a base like this foundation, I'm saying this is a foundation for research, for writing a research paper. If your foundation is strong, you will never have a problem in writing a research paper. So this table, my researcher scholars or research scholar of my institute, I'm saying that this table, it is just the foundation for writing a research paper. If you are thorough with this, then you can write a good research paper and you can publish also in a good journals. Yeah. So now that connecting dot, it is clear. Don't copy the research objectives, variable, measurements claim from the researcher. You have to write in this format, and then you'll find the all the dots will be connected. Yes, there is a relation. Everywhere you'll find the relation. So this fights the column table, it is must if you are in process of writing a research paper. Good research paper can be written on the basis of this. Yeah. So what we have covered today, if you are in process of writing a research paper of your beginners, then or for the seasoned researcher also, this could be the style you can follow. From a broader aspect of your research interest area, narrow down the process, decide your broad choices, narrow down the choices, and come to a very focused research area. And from that, go for a research title search. How to do a research title search? For that, don't use Google. Google Scholar, ResearchGate, Emerald, AppSco, Juster, ProQuest. This online database can be studied. From there, just read the 50 LR or 50 titles, revise your title. With revised title, you download the first 50 research paper from online database, read the limitations of that, convert that limitation into research gaps. Converted research gaps, you have to convert into research objectives. Now, how research objective, research gap, or problem statement or significance of research questions that are related that have talked upon. After deciding the research objective, what method you will follow for satisfaction of this research? How are you going to attain this research objectives? If that process will decide, do you need a variable? If yes, how are you going to quantify that variable? That measurement scale you have to decide. If my measurement scales are of this type, then this statistical technique can be done. Yeah. So for all measurement scale, if you have a one nominal question and one scale question, nominal also you have only two categories like male and female, then you can do independent sample test. Yeah. If you have a one nominal question and one scale question, but you have more than two categories, then you can do ANOVA. If you have all the questions in the statement form and then all the statements are recorded on 1 to 7 Likert scale, then you can do factor analysis. Yeah. So correlation and regression, you require all scale question. For chi-square, it is all categorical question. So these are already set. Yeah. After I have seen that researcher first they collect the data, they enter the data. After entering, then they are saying that, Madam, I want to do this statistical test. नहीं कर सकते भाई. If you have already collected data with the measurement scale which is not appropriate for the that particular test, then how can I help them? So many research scholars they are approaching, they are not under my guidance, but then also they are sometimes coming with that SPSS data sheet, and they are asking me, Madam, please help me. I want to do this statistical test. By looking at the measurement scale of the variable that they have measured, I can say that this particular statistical test it is not at all possible with the very depressing phase they are leaving from my college department or from my office, and they are creating a perception that madam is not ready to help me or madam ko kuch nahi aata. This two kind of a perception they are creating. But if your statistical test करने के लिए I required a appropriate measurement scale. If that scale it is not possible, then I can't conclude that you can do this method. So even no statistician, no researcher is helping in that case because that is not possible. Yeah. So possible hai nahi to how can I help them? So with the very moodless space they are living and they are considering that madam is not ready to help, it is not like that. If your measurement scale it is appropriate, I can suggest the method. Even I can ask you, you go to this output, or you go to this menu, you go here, select this variable and compare the test like this. So that much guidance I'm giving. So all my research scholars, they're sitting in my cabin and they are completing the statistical analysis. If they are poor at the statistical analysis, so I'm ready to help if they are coming. Yeah. But before collecting the data, you need to approach any researcher or data scientist. Yeah. After collecting data, after entering, and if you want, I want to do this particular statistical technique only, even I am helpless. Even I cannot do that way. Yeah. So if you want to apply the statistical technique for writing a research paper, for that, before collecting the data, you just prepare this table and then collect the data, and then you can ask me, I need your favor. So that is just a 5-minute work. If you have entered the data, your statistical techniques or the measurement skills are appropriate, within a click of mouse, I can conduct the many statistical analysis. Yeah, fine. So with this, I can say that for writing a research paper, it is very easy job. Clear? UGC, if you all people are research scholar, then I will say one more thing, that UGC has already given that notification that there is no need to go for a Scopus or Web of Science related or UGC care paper for your PhD thesis. But some of the university, they insist. If that university rule it is there, then you have to follow. Otherwise, you can publish a paper in peer-reviewed journals. Clear? Peer-reviewed journals are as equivalent to UGC care journals. But as a researcher or as a faculty of quantitative analysis, I will say that when you are in the process of submitting your PhD, and if you are coming up with the UGC care or Scopus or Web of Science related papers, after completing your thesis, you are ready with the 3 or 4 papers. So it opens the easy entry for you to get the entry in academics. So if your goal is to become an assistant professor, then this way you target UGC care Scopus Web of Science paper along with your PhD or MPhil thesis. Once you complete your thesis, by that time you have 3 4 papers ready with you, and with this 3 4 papers you can enter in the academics and even in the what is called the departments also, because the all the departments they have a rule that this many papers, this many research score API. So then in the process of completing your PhD, your API score it is also achieved. So all my research scholar, once they complete the PhD under my guidance, their 4 5 papers are ready and 3 books are ready, and they are eligible for assistant professor job. So that's why writing a research paper it is very crucial at this stage. If you are a research scholar, you have to complete this for getting your degree also, and after getting your degree for entering into academics also. So with this I will conclude that for completing any research paper, you have you can apply various statistical techniques, and your various statistical technique depends on your measurement scale. With this, I will end my presentation, and I am writing my email ID. In case if you have any doubt with this today's session, then please you can mail me on ID Mamta Brahmbhatt 23 at gmail.com, and I will love to respond to your queries. So I'm writing and I'm reading. MAMTABRAHMBHABBT23 Mamta Brahmbhatt 23 @gmail.com. That is my email ID. On that, you can post the query. I will reply. And if you are nearby in the university, then you can come. After COVID situation gets settled, you can come and meet me for any of your query. So with this, I will end the presentation. Please respond to HRDC or through my email ID. You can connect with me. You people at any time, if you have any query, you can visit BK also, and I can help you in solving your research queries also. So writing a research paper, that title which I have selected, all the related thing I have completed in this session. And I will thank at the end HRDC, Professor Jagdish Joshi ji, Professor C.G. Brahmbhatt ji, my dear friend, Professor Dr. Preeti Miyani, for giving this wonderful opportunity to connect with you all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Namaste.